on a mission to prepare black girls for the world and the world for black girls. Everything she does empowers them to find their voice. But it was her TEDx talk, seen by nearly 1 million viewers, that literally catapulted Angela Patton onto the world stage. She talked about a daddy-daughter dance she organized for girls whose fathers are behind bars.
These girls just needed a way to invite their fathers into their lives on their own terms.
As Patton will tell you, their stories crack open the heart and allow not just healing, but the tools for lasting reintegration into communities after incarceration. The founder of Camp Diva Leadership Academy, the CEO of Girls for a Change, Angela Patton. She is today's LA Story. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a really special edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez, and we are here with the inspiring author and activist and award-winning filmmaker, Angela Patton. What an honor to have you on LA Stories.
Thank you for having me.
What an incredible ride that you're on right now. Did you ever realize you'd be empowering to so many young girls across the world?
Absolutely not. It was, I would say, challenging to empower myself when I was a little girl, but definitely happy to do it, and to be in partnership with these girls is an amazing journey to be on.
It's interesting because I read that when you were a young girl, to your point, you were this rebel. You were a little bit of a troublemaker.
Absolutely, I was. And that's because I was fortunate to have parents born and raised in the South, but because they experienced a great deal of poverty, they worked very hard to make sure that myself and my brother did not have to experience the same hardship. And so we moved to the suburbs, and at that time, in the 80s, I'm the only black girl in the classroom. It was just a few in the actual school. And we just saw things, especially me, that just were not fair. And so when you are young, when you are black and you are a girl and you ask questions, that can come off as being rebellious or a troublemaker. And so my parents were raised when you had to be safe, right? You had to be the right type of black person that understood your place.
You understood that as a child?
I understood that as a child. My mother would say, stand up for your right. You know, if I didn't feel like someone treated me fairly, she would encourage me to have a conversation.
You said that your goal was to make a difference in other people's lives. You went on to get your degree in business administration, and you went to lead a nonprofit. You were working in some after-school program with the YMCA, and you saw that the boys were all playing.
Yes.
And the girls were hanging out on the sidelines.
Yes.
What did that do to you when you saw that?
Oh, I was like angry about it. And I asked, why aren't you participating? And the responses let me know that those girls did not see themselves. They didn't believe in themselves, and they actually decided to silence themselves. And I knew that something needed to be done by that. And I wanted to just tell the girls, you know, that we don't do that anymore. Right. We can stand our ground. You know, you can participate. You are enough. And so that's what really inspired me.
Yes, inspired you to develop this camp for young girls, to learn, to lead, to honor their voice, to stand up for themselves. You called it Camp Diva Leadership Academy in Richmond, Virginia, where you live.
Making sure girls understood their worth, that girls were leaving the camp with skills and a network and friendship. They were empowered to use their voice and stand up for the things that they believed in, and really created change in the community on their own terms as well.
Oh my goodness, and the program was so successful that you ended up merging with this California-based Girls for Change, and then you brought together more than 100 girls groups from across the nation to uplift communities and different neighborhoods. I mean, how empowering has that been to create a national organization with your one idea?
Yes, empowering, and the other E word, exhausting. However, it's necessary, right? As early as 3rd grade, they are told that they are not enough. Through images, through social media, sometimes through their own family and network in schools, you know, because of colorism. because of the other stereotypes that when you do speak up as a Black girl, you're loud, you're a troublemaker. You know, your hair is not presentable, all right? So we are always combating this narrative, you know, that Black girls are faced with every single day. But what we do is provide it through a holistic approach. And we say that that means that we're doing heart work, which goes to the healing. And then what we do is make sure that the girls pay it forward for their sisters that are coming behind them.
And as part of your immense work, you came up with this idea to do a father-daughter dance with these girls, and which was so powerful because you have recognized that that bond between daddy and daughter is so imperative to a young girl's sense of self and reflects back what kind of man she'll bring into her life.
The girls actually came up with it, and I advocated.
So they told you, the girls in your program, I want to have a closer relationship with my father?
Yes, they told us that they had one and that the narratives that were out there were negative about Black fatherhood. And so they wanted to have a moment to celebrate their fathers and say, you are great. You know, no matter what society says, I see you, Dad. They said, in order for our dads to, you know, help us be these amazing women, they gotta be included. It's about you helping me become a better woman. And so they had their first dance and they were so excited. It was so successful that they decided to have the second one.
And then there was a young girl who said, I don't want to do it. And she had the courage to really confront her shame and say, I don't want to do it because my daddy's in prison.
Absolutely.
How did that impact you?
Oh, it made me sad, upset, and I didn't have an answer.
But you're an interesting leader because you see the grace in the student being the teacher too. And I read it was the girls who said, let's take the dance to the prison.
Absolutely.
Did you think in your wildest dreams, oh, they were going to allow us to do this?
No. I did not, because that's the adult in you, right? When you are a child, you're really hopeful and you a big dreamer. But what I did know is that I signed up not to be a dream crusher, right? I signed up to support, hoping that they would not be rejected because I understood that that would be the last thing that they needed.
Right.
And to our surprise, the sheriff welcomed not only the letter, but them into his office for a meeting.
Well, this is a great place to take a break because you and the girls did, in fact, create a daddy-daughter dance behind bars. It was not only transformative for the fathers and daughters, but opened up the world's eyes to the impact mass incarceration has on families. When LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with the amazing Angela Patton, who organized a daddy-daughter dance that literally has transformed lives because she held this beautiful dance behind bars for daughters whose daddies are incarcerated. You met in the sheriff's office with your girls.
Yes.
And what did he say?
Absolutely, yes.
How blown away were you?
Yes. I was just seeing him as a hero in the community and understood that a simple letter, a simple conversation can definitely lead to change.
Let's talk about what the fathers first had to go through. The fathers behind bars, it wasn't just, show up to a dance. They had to go through a 12-week program.
We needed to do the work to prepare them, and we also needed to do the work and make sure we were not creating more harm by having some aftercare, and saw immediately how this could really truly make changes with the families that we were working with. Even to help you, I'm counting on my daddy. That's how important fatherhood is.
So they go through their 12-week program. The girls have picked out their dresses.
I like it.
You've got the decorations. Tell me, I mean, you decked out the prison. I mean, that must have been something. You had a DJ, you had beautiful dresses the inmates got to wear their Sunday best.
Yes, absolutely, the Sunday best. And that is how the girls described it. We need to see our fathers in shirts and ties and jackets and blazers and dress shoes, because you know what they understood? That not only would they feel confident because they were able to change and, into these suits, that they said when he comes out, Now he knows how to wear one for work.
Oh.
So they were preparing the fathers for more than just a dance.
Were the girls as excited as they were nervous?
They were nervous, but they wanted it.
When I don't see my dad, that makes me mad and makes me want to miss him. But now I'm getting happier because I'm going to see him. I'm so nervous.
It's like they opened up this can of worms and they're like, oh, now we have to do it. Okay. And they would hold each other's hands as they were walking into the prison or jails.
Describe to me just the energy, the vibe.
Oh, wow. The part that gets me every time is when the gates of heaven open up for the fathers and they're leaning over and they see their angel coming.
All dressed up.
To me, that's just, you know, if someone was to say, what do you think heaven looks like?
Oh.
That is it.
Wow, miss you.
I see the gates opening up again to healing and connecting and strengthening. And I'm just looking forward to a good old time and laughter and joy from all of them. I want everyone to take that moment and breathe that heaven in, those beautiful angels coming to save us all.
May I have this dance?
Yes! Yes! I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it.
And Angela, what moved you most about watching these fathers and daughters come together for the first time?
When the father twirls the girl, when he puts his jacket on her, when he's able to feed her, you know, when they tickle in each other's ear, or when they play a game together, just seeing the touch and understanding the power behind that and how we all take it for granted. And when you leave, you just want to go hug somebody.
Yeah.
You know, embrace someone.
Speaking of leaving,
Yes.
how traumatizing is that? I mean, the guards even cried.
Yes, the guards cry. I don't see it as trauma. I see it as the first step to healing yourself. Because one of the things that we have to understand is we cannot keep that bottled inside. We have to take the first step. So why not do it in a way where you've done the 12-week program, you applied some skills, and now you know that there are next steps. And the next steps is to keep addressing the wound, right? So that you can get towards the healing. The trauma is when you do nothing. But when you know that you are doing the work and you are going to get it together, that to me is uplifting. That is the joy in the pain. You know, you have to show up.
You took what you observed, this immense experience, and you created a TEDx talk. Obviously, this resonated with so many because you weren't just talking about the daddies and daughters in one dance.
Yes.
You were talking about the need for prison reform.
Absolutely.
You found the recidivism rates were cut down remarkably.
Not only the recidivism rates went down, the behavior got better, right? That the men started to look out for each other. And when someone would make a bad decision, they remind them, you know, you need to get home to your daughter. They understood accountability. They understood what it meant to be a responsible father.
Well, it was really powerful messaging in your TEDx talk. But what actually made me cry was the fact that your own father was there watching the filming when you did your TED Talk. And then he came and hugged you, and I was like, oh.
Very meaningful because you know that he's heaven for me.
And you made a point to say that, you know, I care about these girls who don't have this because I know the power of it with my own dad.
Yes, absolutely. Because I understood the power of what it was to have your father in your life.
You took this immense experience and you created a documentary called Daughters for Netflix. You got a standing ovation at Sundance and won the documentary award.
Yes.
What did that feel like to you to be able to share these girls' stories with the world and be acknowledged at the highest levels of Hollywood?
Yes, overjoyed. You know, it was an 8-year journey with co-director Natalie Ray about what's happening with Black girls and their families, their communities, their schools. And sometimes you don't feel heard, even when you show up every day. And so to see the audience that I've never been in the company of, that these girls are unfamiliar with, I was overjoyed.
Well, you not only won at Sundance, there's Oscar buzz. Are you pinching yourself?
Yes, I am.
It's not just career success, but you're driven by mission.
Absolutely. Mission driven. You know, my mission is to prepare Black girls for the world and the world for Black girls.
We're going to get into that when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We are here with the inspiring, award-winning documentarian, Angela Patton. How does that sound to you?
Oh, yes. Fresh, brand new, but amazing.
Amazing. You own it.
Own it. I will accept.
The documentary Daughters, so powerful. You chronicle the lives of 4 girls.
Yes.
All of them from 5 to 15, whose daddies are in prison. And you follow their journey leading up to the daddy-daughter dance behind bars. Yes. One of the girls that's profiled is this 5-year-old beautiful girl named Aubrey.
Earth take 1 year to circle around sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I see my dad.
Talk to me about Aubrey and her dad.
Yes, Aubrey and Keith, you know, magical. How much he talked about Aubrey and her brilliance, but unfortunately through his, choices, he wasn't able to make those contributions, but had so much hope in how Aubrey was going to change the world and how they showed up to allow us to make sure that the world sees exactly what happens to girls once they go through this system that is unforgivable was, to me, a change maker. Mm-hmm. Just the support of the family. And we definitely felt that the world needed to see this process.
I don't even remember his face. I don't remember nothing about my father. Nothing at all.
And how were the girls' lives transformed?
Yes.
Because to watch them in the documentary leave just ripped my heart open.
Yes.
And then I even asked, is the trauma of that worth the actual reunion in the long term? What have you found?
Oh, yes, I hear that, and I understand that. It's an emotional roller coaster for them too. But where we think that we serve the best justice is in the aftercare. We are always checking in. We're also making sure the resources that are localized, that are right there in their community, are available to them.
You have also written a powerful book.
Yes.
And you like to talk about girls not at risk, but at promise.
Absolutely.
Why is it so important you make that distinction?
Because words matter. They matter. And I want to make sure that I'm changing the narrative. And I see nothing but at promise. I see the divine goddess within you. Now let's get to work, right? Let's nurture what's already within you. And I remind my girls every day, you are not just enough, but you are who you've been waiting for.
Oh.
You have what you need. Now let's get to work. We challenge the world to do the work too. This is not only on the children, right? What can you do? How can you open doors? How can you change your mindset and behavior? Because that's how we all get there, by being collaborative in the process.
Let me ask you this. With the emergence of the Oprahs, the Kamala Harrises, the Michelle Obamas, the Debbie Allens, the Amanda Gormans, more in Gen Z, millennials, do those archetypes, do those Black women powerhouses have a real big impact and influence on these young girls?
Absolutely. They're embedded in every curriculum that we have, celebrating the women that have come before them and understand that they stand on their shoulders, that they are women that are doing the work every day for you. And now you are part of that puzzle.
With your documentary, with your books, with your programs, you said you hope it's a wake-up call to politicians and to the leaders of this country.
Yes.
What do you want them to wake up to?
I want them to wake up to Black girls' barriers, what they're facing, and how we need to create access opportunities to make sure that the girls feel included and be in a position where you are grateful that you have the opportunity to be amongst such brilliance. Now, what would you do with that?
Well, you have been wildly inspiring through your books, through your films, through your TED Talks, and through your programs. I thank you so much for opening all of our eyes to the brilliance, to Black girl brilliance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Angela Patton, don't miss her documentary film on Netflix called Daughters. I'm Giselle Fernandez. Thank you for joining us for another edition of LA Stories. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.